Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The New World. Thank you for joining us today. And in today's video, following the recent integration of the new AllStar Game format, we decide to give our thoughts on the new tournament. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we are on the road to 10K subs, turn on those notifications, and stay tuned for our next videos. And comment your thoughts on the new AllStar Game format or any videos you guys would like to see us do next. Now fellas, after hearing the news of the new tournament, what are your thoughts on it? And do you guys think this is a turnaround for AllStar Weekend?
Brother, AllStar Weekend is dead. I know when we talk about the NBA at this point, we pretty much are getting ready for recessionals. You know, we getting ready for a funeral, essentially, because the body is dead. As of now, my boys and I, we really going in the process of really just drafting up this autopsy, giving you reasons for why the body is dead. And this All-Star Game is really just part and parcel of that. Man, no, ain't nobody moved by this. Kevin Durant echoed the sentiments of all of these guys. It's really kind of lame and pathetic. Adam Silver is a bum-ass commissioner. I think at this point, he's just searching, man. He's just searching. He's really trying to do anything to stay relevant because at this point, we know about the 11-year, $78 billion deal that they get. You know, with NBC, ABC, ESPN, all of these media factions, they gonna be getting that bread. So that's essentially $7 billion on annual for the next 11 years. As I was telling Jay and Buffy before we recording this, you just got to come up with $6 billion to do what you did last year. And they struggling to do that because nobody is talking about them. That NBA Cup was a failure. I don't care what nobody says. That cup was abysmal. Oklahoma City Thunder were 5 of 32 from the three-point line. This is the product. And the NBA All-Star Game, nobody's paying any attention to it. That format is not going to help the situation at all. The fact is that these guys don't play hard. They don't play hard. And at least the last time, though, when they first changed the format, at least you had, you know, the guys with the captains and they were picking the teams. Now you got these old inside the NBA guys with TNT picking the teams. Ain't nobody moving by that. That's not gonna make these guys play harder. You're just gonna see a bunch of guys shooting three-pointers from the half-court line, playing no defense. I think what it is, Jay, is that instead of seeing 200 points, we'll just see the 40-point total. Because I think that was also in the resurfaces of people's minds, like, man, these guys, they scoring 200 points. You know, it's ridiculous. So now you just see them score 40. But the format is lame. I personally am not going to watch, and we make NBA videos consistently on this channel. So not move. They can't turn it around with changing the format of the All-Star Game. There are too many damn problems that the NBA has for just to change the format to help it. Shout out to Stephen Curry for trying, but Steph, you and your colleagues are part of the problem. You guys feel emboldened. Like these guys, I'm hearing reports that the reason why these guys are not playing hard is because they're not getting a slice of the pie. I'm paying you $50 to $60 million a year. You can't do your job and actually perform. I'm just asking you to do your job. I'm giving you basically acknowledgement, saying you're one of the better players in the league. That's an achievement. That's an accomplishment. Guys in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s used to feel that was a big deal to be an all-star. Now these guys don't really care. It don't really matter to them. They have no respect for the league. And even when Larry Bird and those guys tried to tell them about the importance of the All-Star Game and that product, they still slapped them in the face by just not taking it seriously and really just saying, y'all can kiss my ass. And it's just gonna continue to happen, bro. It's gonna continue to happen. Like, I'm hearing people say, oh, well, maybe we need to give them incentives. Maybe we need to put up money. I'm like, why can't they just do their jobs? Why can't they do their jobs? And these are questions that, frankly, I do have answers to, but I'm gonna say that for another video.
Yeah, I don't think the NBA knows what it's doing, and I can't really fault them because these players just aren't really giving them any effort. It's kind of disheartening to me because when I was growing up, you know, the All-Star Game was kind of declining as a product, but they still had players like Kobe Bryant keeping it alive. And I feel like after he's left, it's gone really bad as a product, especially when he started to decline after about 2013. And basically LeBron started taking over, and it was just the LeBron show. And that's where we gotten a lot of just the no defense. And with the last couple of years, we gotten a lot of teams just chucking up threes. And that's how you get point totals of 211 points in the last All-Star Game. You got people just attempting three-point shots. It's just a bad watch for everybody to watch. And it's really hard for me to just kind of have the game on for longer than a quarter, to be honest, because everybody's just not playing defense. Nobody's running down the court. They're not even giving 90% of the effort. That's why I think Adam Silver, he's looking at the situation like, hey, what can I do to make this better at all? And he's just trying different stuff. And I really can't fault him for trying different stuff, but this is not really the core of the issue. The core of the issue is players aren't playing with the intent they should be playing with. And for players getting paid millions of dollars, for you having to bribe them with a $1.8 million prize pool, like players get paid money for each game they win. They're already getting paid enough money. They just aren't like playing with the effort. And for you just to bribe them basically with more money so they can play harder, I feel like it's why this is declining. The players have to look at themselves in the eye like, hey, why does nobody want to watch this anymore? Like when I tune in for AllStar Game, I don't want to watch it for longer than a couple minutes because it's the same thing over and over again. It looks like an LA Fitness game with the amount of bullshit that the NBA players do not care about. They just run up. They don't even run up and down the court. It's really just a jog. It's just a jog like up and down the court. And you know, you got players like Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic. They don't really care as much. And I understand that, you know, they're European players, but can we please get people out there that are willing to care about basketball? Like, you're playing a sport for people's entertainment. We want to see you hoop at the most competitive level, and we're not seeing that at all. I feel like it's a big disservice to the fans. Honestly, don't know what they could do besides this format because the players, they just don't care. They just don't care. And I understand Kevin Durant's point, but what more do you want from them, to be honest? Because if they're just going to do East and West, the games are still going to be high-scoring games, no defense games. Teams still going to be chucking threes every possession. So what is the point? What is the end goal, basically? I think these players, they have to look at themselves in the rearview mirror and look at themselves and think, why? Why are we just not playing well? Why are we just not playing with any intent? It's really hard to watch. And for the casual fan, nobody want to watch this shit. Like, casual fans, they're already upset that many of these teams are taking so many 3-pointers anyway, that they're flopping anyway, that they're not playing defense anyway. So when you basically make all these points and basically put them to 10, like boost these different segments by 10,000, like, and you watch a game of this with the best stars in the league, the casual fan does not want to watch this shit. So that is my center point. Like, what are we really doing as a league? And I do want to admit this because, you know, I like watching basketball. I really don't like watching the product anymore. We're going to drop a video on the decline of NBA, and the viewership has gone down significantly, 42% from, you know, 2012, and it's gone down ever since the bubble pretty much. They've been under 10 million for majority of these NBA finals, like in the last couple years. But we have to look at the big face of the league. And who do we think is the big face of the league? Honestly, it's not Steph, which, you know, Steph is the most marketable player, but he's not really the face of the league. We have to look at the face of the league and be like, we have to look at him and we have to ponder, because the guys are going to follow him. And who do we think is the face of the league? Who do we think is the greatest of all time that everybody keeps on telling me it is? He's going to be 40 in about a week. So we have to look at him and look at him with a certain grace. It's like, bro, why are you not doing your job? You are a so-called billionaire, but you won't even give 40% of your effort on a normal basketball court to an exhibition game, because these players, they think they're going to get injured. And one more thing, I don't understand the sentiment that, you know, these players think they're going to get injured. Like, nobody's really ever gotten injured in an All-Star game. Like, besides, like, I think Kobe Bryant broke his nose one time. But even that, he still played. Like, Kobe Bryant still played through that. So it wasn't even like an ACL tear, like Achilles injury. Like, no. So I don't really understand that argument. It really doesn't make sense to me. Like, dude, even if you're not gonna go 100%, please go like at least 80. So it looks like y'all actually simulating a real game. But those are my 2 cents on it, man. I think the NBA is a cooked product, and they're trying anything at this point to kind of make it watchable, and it's still not a watchable product. So I don't really even care about this league that much anymore.
CJ said something that, of course, I agree with everything that he said, and I love the fact that he held that man LeBron James accountable, because everybody wants to give him all these flowers, but he needs to be held accountable. But I want to ask the fans, people that's watching this, do y'all like this shit? In terms of the NBA, like, do y'all really like this product that's being put out? I know Jay is probably at this point the biggest NBA fan, so I guess I'll ask him this. Jay, you still fucking with this product, man? I think at this point, people that are NBA fans, y'all need to pick a different league.
I've really been disappointed by the NBA like over these, past couple years, especially, around that All-Star time. They really haven't got the All-Star game right since 2020. I mean, 2020, they actually put all the effort in because, that's when Kobe had passed. They had the new All-Star trophy, and then they added like the set score or whatever, and then like they were actually trying. But then after that, these guys, they just started taking All-Star Weekend as a little vacation, and they grabbing they quick paycheck, and then the NBA, they're just feeding into it. And I really hate it because that's the time we get to see some of our favorite players play together, and all we're just seeing them do is run down and shoot some threes, chuck up threes, or lay the ball up. And that really goes on in games anyways, but the All-Star game, like, you just wasting your money because you're seeing the same thing. Don't even get me started with the dunk contest. They always just throw out, some random role players and stuff like that. Like Obi Toppin's brother. Are you serious? Even though they said this ain't something they want to do, we want to see those guys like Ant, Ja, Zion. We want to see the big name guys that actually have the big names and are making you money, instead of just seeing some guys that we only gonna see that one time and that's it. We keep seeing Mac McClung more than we do anybody else.
Blame LeBron for that.
That's crazy. Like, LeBron really decided not to do that dunk contest, and it's kind of like a whole bunch of stars that follow suit. Maybe, they could like throw in some type of incentive to those high flyers, like a Ja, Zion or some, for them to actually want to do the dunk contest. Or, as far as the 3-point contest, so we just throw in 3-point players who got the highest shooting percentage. Like, is that what we want to do? Like, no, we want to see the actual 3-point shooters that we know are legit 3-point shooters. Like, we want to see the Stephs, the Clays, the Dames, shoot, the Trae Youngs. We want to see these guys who we know are 3-point shooters.
I have to disagree with you on that. I think they're getting that, are they not? Steph was in it last year, like the best.
Yeah, he was with it with Sabrina.
Yeah, so that 3-point contest is the anomaly. You're getting the most out of that.
Yeah, we actually getting some out of the 3-point contest, but that dunk contest, it's like really bad.
It's done.
Yeah, at this point, they might as well just scrap it because we're not even getting big names anymore. Like, we used to have, like, when we were watching, Derrick Jones Jr. and Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. That 2016, that was peak dunk contest, bro. But now, we just got a whole bunch of guys, and then we got G League guys coming in for the dunk contest. Like, that's not fun. Okay, we get it, they can jump, but are we really here to always see them? Like, let's be honest here. A lot of people aren't always here to see Mac McClung dunk and stuff. Like, we know the brother can dunk. We want to see these big name guys that we see, had these amazing highlight tapes in the regular season. So that's a failed thing in the All-Star game. And the All-Star game in itself, this format is just, they're doing way too much. We already got an in-season tournament. So Adam Silver just said, I got an in-season tournament in the regular season. Why not throw an in-season tournament into the All-Star game? That sounds so amazing. It's just, you're doing too much. And even KD said that this is, a lot. Like, why are we doing all this extra stuff when we're just supposed to be playing East versus West? Like, why can't we just go back to that? But one thing, KD, to say to that, if you guys show like the initiative to want to hoop against each other, maybe they would actually go back to East versus West. But even if doing this All-Star tournament, I know they're not gonna really care because they're getting paid anyways. Like, everybody's getting money. So that's one thing. When they did it before, nobody really cared. They were just going down, like I said, shooting threes and laying the ball up. If we actually had East versus West, and go back to how it was before, then maybe we'd actually be moving into the right path. But then again, I don't know, maybe the NBA just knows how stacked the West is, and they think that the West is just going to easily dominate the East or something. But I do want to say one good idea was, I saw on Gil's Arena, they were talking about, just picking between the top 24 to 25 guys in the league, and then, just having them in a team. That can work, but like all this extra tournament stuff, it's just like,
what do you mean by that?
Basically, whoever is like the top 25 in the league that year, you have them, and then you split them off into a team. Like, you have your starter captains, and then they pick them.
That's
like,
what they were doing. They were doing that.
It's not just based off of like your teams and stuff, like your records and stuff. Like, it's actually whoever's like at the top of the list. Like, basically, if you're going over like the NFL top 100 and who's actually ranked the top 25.
I'm not understanding that. It's like that's what they were. Whoever is an all-star, then the person that gets the most votes, which is typically like the best player, they get.
No, that's what they were saying. Like, it doesn't just go off fan vote. Like, it's actually off of whoever's like the top guys.
If you just go off the top guys, you're taking the fans out of it. You're taking it. So the fans are. That's my problem with people like Gil's Arenas. They try to talk like they're smart, but they really don't know anything about business. The whole problem is that it's not a good product. The fans don't want to watch it. So if you're gonna do that by saying, okay, well, we're gonna pick, like you said, top 25 guys. So fans is like, well, that's part of the intrigue. Part of the intrigue is that I get to vote for who I think is an all-star. So if you're taking that away from me, then I'm really not gonna watch, because that's not gonna make them want to play hard. It's not. Because what happens? We have Jokic and Giannis picking the teams. Okay, so Giannis has been picking the teams, and it's been Giannis and Bron. Because that's what it is. Everybody picks Bron because he's the face of the league. But outside of him, it's always like the best player or the person that's having the best season. This is what has been done. People just got to face facts. There's nothing that they can do that's going to be able to resolve the situation. Nothing. Well, I have two options. One, if you don't want to play, don't show up, or no game, no All-Star game. It's like an honorary thing where you're named an All-Star and that's it. At the end of the season, that'll help you, get more money on a contract or whatever like that, but no game. No.
Oh, so you talking about basically like the Pro Bowl, how they do? Like, yes. Okay, I got you.
Honorary, no game. I just basically acknowledge that you are an all-star, and then you get that time off, you get that break, and you can be with your family, or we can have some type of festivities, like go to Hawaii. Like I said, do what the Pro Bowl did, but just eliminate the game, since these guys are so fixated on, I'm not trying to get hurt. When CJ said these niggas not getting hurt, dog. You're not getting hurt.
Yeah.
You're barely even playing basketball. You're low managing. You're playing 50 games a year. What you worry about getting hurt for? Your money is guaranteed.
I mean, like nobody's telling these players to go out here and just duke it out. Nobody. We're not saying that, but at least make it competitive. Like just going down there shooting threes and laying the ball up. Nobody wants to see all that. Because we got last year, Cat was over here pulling up from half court most of the time. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see what these guys' main things is. We want to see them, LeBron his signature dunk, Ja come down there and dunk it, or we want to see. I'm fine with Steph shooting threes, I'm fine with some of these guys shooting threes, but all these guys, pulling up from half court and deep, that's not what we really came to see.
Dog, I'm at the point I'm like CJ. I'm already not getting really any compelling competitive basketball in the regular season. I don't give a damn. I don't care about Ja's signature dunk. Bro, be honest. Is that moving you in the All-Star game? Because for one, it's going to be a wide open dunk. Bro, let's just stop the games. Let's just stop it. You get that honorary All-Star title, and let's just move forward. We can acknowledge that is done. Just acknowledge that it's done. There's nothing. People have tried. Because I think Adam Silver and those guys are trying hard. It just cannot be done.
We got to do something. Obviously, the last couple of years have not been a great All-Star game that Sunday night. But listen, it's a bigger conversation. It's not just the All-Star game. It's the All-Star game in general. Our game is a lot of fucking threes being shot. So it's a bigger conversation, just the All-Star game. I can't do that today. Not Sacramento. I love you guys, but you can't lead this conversation today. It's just a bigger conversation.